Okay, team. So first of all, let's start with making sure we have a pen and a piece of paper. That is very important. So if you don't have that right now, I'll wait a couple of minutes until you go and get one. So that's the first thing, pen and piece of paper. Second part is very important. There's going to be a lot of interaction tonight, like Coach Eric said. We're hoping to use the chat function as much as possible. Coach Eric's going to be in charge of that, so he'll bring questions to me as I'm speaking. And then I'm just going to randomly ask people a question. So we have to make sure we're switched on and not sleeping. So if everybody's got a pen and paper, we'll get started. As you can see on the screen right now, I'll just move that. We have the goalkeeper role out of possession as the title. We'll get to that in a second. Just a little bit about myself before we continue. I'm from Glasgow, Scotland, which is obviously the best city, country in the world, but that's for another day. But yeah, so I have an accent, a little bit hard to understand sometimes. And once I start talking about goalkeeping, I get very excited about it. I'll speed up. So just tell me, I'll slow down for everybody because I know it can be hard to understand me. So as you can see here, Florida Elite Goalkeeper Director, currently on my UEFA B goalkeeping license that I start this week. And I've played in the States, in college, professionally, and also played professionally in Scotland. And that's enough about me. Let's get to the main part. Oh, there we go. So 4 phases of the game. Last week, we worked on in possession, which means that your team has the soccer ball. Tonight, we're going to work on out of possession, which is the reverse. That means that we're defending. We do not have the soccer ball. And then you have 2 other transition topics of attack to defense, defense to attack that we'll touch base on next week. So again, as you can see there at the bottom, goalkeeper's role out of possession. So right now in the chat function on your piece of paper, what does out of possession mean? And I just told you the answer there. And then what does the role of the goalkeeper out of possession mean to you? So again, this is the second question. We can just start throwing out some answers and we can look at them and we can build off of those. So first question, out of possession, what does it mean? And secondly, in your eyes, what is the role of the goalkeeper out of possession? So I'll give you a minute or so. If anybody would like to come off of mute and offer their answer. And if just start shouting out, otherwise I'm going to start picking names. So let's see here. Jacob, I'm looking at you, buddy. Come off and mute.
So when you're out of possession, that means that your team does not have the ball. And
Nope.
One of the things that goalkeepers have to do when you don't have the ball is communicate.
Brilliant. Love that answer. So everybody make sure they write down communication for the second question. Let's see, Addison, can you give me some input there on the second question?
It's kind of like you have to like follow. So say you're in the middle of the goal and the ball's on the left side of the field, you have to go to like kind of in a good position to see the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that answer a lot. We're going to get to that in the next couple of slides. So well done. So why don't we write positioning? So right now we have communication from Jacob. We have positioning from Addison. Let's go to, let me see who else I've got here. Caleb. What about you? What about the role out of possession for a goalkeeper? Come off of mute for me, buddy, if you can.
You need to pay more attention to where the ball is going.
Yeah, I like that. So what would you think that would be? Staying engaged. Do we know what that means? Staying engaged?
Engaged.
Yeah, so staying alert, staying switched on. We're not looking at the sky and saying, oh, there's a seagull or there's a bird. We're staying switched on and watching the game. Yeah, so far we've got communication. We have positioning. We have staying switched on. Yeah, all good points. Let's have one more from, let me see who I don't know here. Lincoln, maybe? Yeah, Lincoln, give me a point that you wrote down.
You have to be ready for a shot if they're close.
Yeah, great answer. I like that a lot. Well done. So again, we've got communication at the very start. We have positioning. We have staying alert, staying engaged, staying switched on mentally. And then Lincoln said they are getting ready for the shot. So all great answers. So make sure we've wrote those 4 down. What about organization? So if I say organization to you out of possession, can you give me an example? Let me go to Braden. Come off of mute, buddy. So if we are organizing.
Coach, can you repeat the question real quick? I was writing it
sure.
down.
So if I say organization, communication and organization work together, okay? When would you organize when you don't have the soccer ball?
Like when they're close to your goal, you can be screaming like no shot, no cross.
Yeah, brilliant. I love that. Great answer. Well done, mate. What else? Someone put their hand up and think of an example where you would have to communicate to your defenders or organize your defenders. When do you think that would happen? When you're defending against a what? Emily? Yes?
It could happen on a corner kick or.
Brilliant. Love that answer. That's what I was looking for the whole time. Well done. Thank you. So set pieces. So again, we have communication and organization. You should put a big, massive circle around both of those answers. Okay, so I'll wait a minute. You're going to write communication, organization, 2 massive circles, put stars next to it. That's 2 very important parts.
Jordan, Braden had his hand icon up. Braden, do you have a question or a comment to the answer to that question?
No, I just had like something to say for the last question,
Yeah, on you go, buddy.
but I forgot it.
They're okay. So we'll just recap. This is the learning outcome. So again, the first question I asked you was, what does out of possession mean? And we all know now that it means that we don't have the soccer ball. So we are defending. Yes. And then the second question I asked you was, what is the role of the goalkeeper out of possession? And again, 2 main points I want you to write down right now: communication, organization. Okay, so that's the 2 main points that we circle. And then underneath that, you would have defending against a corner kick, defending against a free kick, perhaps, defending against a shot on the run of play, defending maybe the space behind your back 4 that we're now going to move on to. So let me see here. There we go. So everybody just read this slide as I'm talking. So defend the space. I want you to think right now, you've got a back 4 on the halfway line, and we're going to look at a video in a second in the next slide. But if your back 4 is standing, your defenders are standing on the halfway line, and you're at the top of your box, there's going to be a lot of space between there. And that's what that's called by defending the space. So again, are you connected to your back 4? If your back 4 on the halfway line, are you going to stand on your goal line? Probably not. You're going to stand about the 18-yard box, the top of your box, or maybe just a little bit further out. And again, this will all make sense because we're about to watch a video. So again, stay connected to your back 4. Staying engaged, which was the word I used, also switched on. We're not standing looking at the birds in the sky. We're staying switched on, being engaged. Anticipate. That's a new word maybe some of us might not know. That is being ready and thinking 1 step ahead of everybody. So that's underneath, you'll see it says what if moments. Now, any of my goalkeepers at Florida Elite, can you come off of unmute and tell me what if moments mean? Anybody put their hand up? Avery, yes?
A what if moment is when the other team, usually when they have possession, or when your team has possession in your half, and you have to be ready for the possibility of a shot or a cross that'll come into your box.
Exactly. I love that answer. Great. So again, you're always thinking of the what if moments. So if the other team have the ball, okay, so again, we're out of possession. So the other team have the ball and our defenders are standing on the halfway line and we're standing on the 18-yard box. There's a lot of space between the defenders and you, correct? Everybody agree? Yeah. So the what if moment, you're thinking, that's a danger area. The other team might try and play a ball over the back four. That's you thinking, what if? One step ahead, so I can get there. So again, we're going to watch a video now, and it's going to make a lot more sense to everybody. So.
A swiper goalkeeper is someone who controls the space behind the defensive line by pushing up. Pushing up with the defensive line and trying to control the space behind the defensive line. So both Ederson and Ellison have made a total of 16 sweeper clearances so far this season.
Oh, let me see here, guys. I'm just going to rewind this a little. Oh, not good with the technology. So everybody watched that video okay? Eric, was it okay to watch?
A swiper goalkeeper is someone who controls the space behind the defensive line by pushing up. Pushing up with the defensive line and trying to...
So everybody just look at this little diagram here in the video, and we can see that we're talking about, if you look at the back four of the four blue players, and then you've got Ederson standing at the top of the box, that area that's shaded is the space that we're talking about. So that's defend the space. So can anybody come off of mute and tell me what the little word was, or the two words underneath the video? It's also known as a something keeper. Does anybody know what?
Keeper.
Yes, love that, Jacob. Good answer. So you've got Ederson that does it. You've also got Manuel Neuer, who plays for Bayern Munich, who's very good at doing a sweeper keeper. So when we watch that video, everybody, can you, in the chat function right now, and on your piece of paper, write down some of the things that you saw in this video? And I'm going to play it again for the second time. And I want you guys to start writing down what you see Ederson do. Is he connected to his back four? Is he staying switched on? Is he reading the what if moments? Is he anticipating, which means his set position at the top of the box? Is he standing, getting ready for a shot? Or is he almost in a runner's position? Is he in a runner's pose, anticipating running out and clearing that ball? So we're going to watch it again, and I want you to write these notes down, and then we're going to talk about it in the next slide.
The space behind the defensive line.
Okay, so I hope you took some notes there. I'm going to start asking some of us what they thought of the video. So I'm going to ask someone to describe one of the videos or one of the highlights, the little tiny clips that you saw in that video. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to describe one of the little mini clips. So who wants to have a go? Who wants to put their hand up and describe one of the mini clips that they just saw in that video? Just come off of unmute and you can start talking, whoever wants to try.
Addison, I saw your hand in the air there. You go right ahead.
So there was like a loose ball and it was in the air and he was out of the box. So he headed it out instead of like trying to like settle it with his chest because that would take up time.
I love that. Yeah, it was, again, anticipating the ball coming through, but it's taken a wicked bounce and he had to use his head, which is totally fine. I love that. What else? Someone else give me something that they saw in one of the clips. Anybody?
He doesn't give up on the ball.
Yep, great answer, Jacob. I think that was you. I saw he took a heavy touch, but he didn't run back to his goal. He continued to try and win the ball back because it was a decision to be made to either go back to the goal or go and win the ball, which he made the right decision. So again, that's the first point that we're working on tonight is out of possession, defending the space. Okay, so we've got 3 of them. The first one's defend the space. So we've covered that. So write that down on your bit of paper. You should have communication, organization, and then you should have defend the space. And I would probably put sweeper keeper next to it so you can remember what that means. And I'll give everybody a minute. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next slide, which is defend the area. So again, I'm going to ask you, put your hand up, put it in the chat function. Tell me what you think defend the area means. Anyone can come off of mute. I'm going to start asking people.
Controlling the 18-yard box.
Yeah,
Like
taking control of the 18-yard box. I like that. Anybody that came in late to the Zoom, if they want to come off of mute and tell me what they think defending the area means. No, no one. Okay, that's fine. We'll just move on from that. So defend the area, like one of the boys just said. I don't know who it was. It might have been Jacob, I think. Yeah, defending the area. Ball's coming into the box. Are you coming for a cross to catch it? Or are you coming out to punch it? Or are you not doing either of them and staying on your goal line and playing the second ball? Okay, so again, we've got defend the area, which means crosses coming into the box, high balls coming into the box, low crosses coming in. So if we look at some of the examples here, we've got the angle and the distance of the ball coming in. Is it a floated ball into the box? Is it driven with speed and pace? Is it getting crossed in from maybe the corner kick position? Or is it getting crossed in from the halfway line? That's going to decide where you stand on your goal line. So also, you're looking at an in-swinger versus an out-swinger. Are you going to be closer to your goal line? Or are you going to be a half a step off your line? Can someone tell me when you would be half a step off your line? Come off mute. Anybody?
You would usually be half a step off your line whenever it's going to be an outswinger, because then you don't have to worry about it going towards your goal.
Brilliant answer. I love that, Avery. I couldn't have said it better myself. So again, for all your goalkeepers here right now, you can just take a small note. Anytime someone's getting ready to put an out swinger, so that's usually the ball going away from the goal, that's when you can have a half a step off your line so we can attack it. If it's an in swinger, which means the ball's going to get crossed, and if no one touches it, it's going to come into the goal, that's when you'd be closer to your line. So again, some things to think about before the ball comes into the box. Where's it getting kicked from? Is it coming in with speed or is it floated? Is it a left footer or a right footer putting the ball into the box? And then, is there any attackers in the box? So you have to be thinking about this all before you make your decision to either come for the cross to catch it or punch it, or stay on your goal line and play the second ball. So again, we're going to watch a little video here. It's going to be, let me see who's up next. It's Allison. So everybody knows who Allison is. Very good goalkeeper. And we're going to watch him collecting crosses and punching crosses or staying on his goal line. So what I want from right now is on your piece of paper, again, defend the area is the heading. And then I want you to write down some things that you see that Allison does well when he's either coming for a cross or coming for a punch, which is also known as a decision-making process. Okay, so we're going to watch this again, and I'm just going to pick certain points, and then we're going to talk about it. You can also write that down, commanding the box, obviously defending the area, commanding the box, out of possession. So that one there, guys, there was a lot of bodies in the 6-yard box, right on top of them. And it's probably too difficult to catch that ball. So did he make the right decision to punch it out of danger? I would say so. This one here, again, I'm just going to rewind this back because I really want you to focus on crossing because it's an area that we all have to work on.
Which is one.
Again, he comes through bodies, decides to punch. Great decision. Next one. It's another one where he comes. So just on that, I want us to write in the chat function, and then I'm going to specifically ask players right now, or goalkeepers, some questions about Allison's positioning in the goal. Okay, so think about his positioning in the goal and think about his footwork. Was he hesitating before he went to attack the ball, or did he make his decision and go for it? So I'm going to ask, let me see here. Let's see who's not asked or answered the question yet. Kevin, are you, who's that there?
Kevin isn't one of your UGKA coaches.
Well, he can answer it. I'm joking. Let's have Laura. Is that right? Laura, answer this one. My question to you is, tell me what you thought about Allison's footwork when attacking the ball. Was he taking big, massive steps, or was it small, tight, tiny steps? Laura, is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's still on mute.
It was a combination of it, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Right, yeah, I would say so, but I would say more so smaller steps so he could stay balanced. And that's something that all the goalkeepers should try and focus on. Smaller, tight steps, because if we take big steps, we're going to be off balance, and it's going to be very easy to come through players and they can give you a little nudge and then we're going to fall over. So if we can take smaller, tighter steps, and that's going to help us remain balanced. So that's something that we're looking for there on the crosses. So There we go. So a little recap on defending the area. Before you even make your decision to come for the ball or stay at home on your goal line, you have to think, where's the ball coming from? Is it coming from the corner kick area? Is it coming from the halfway line? Then you have to think, is it coming in with speed or is it getting floated in? And then next thing, where's the players in the box? Is there a lot of players around that ball or is it going to be only one or two? So if you take that in your head, you have to make a quick decision and say, okay, I'm coming. And if you are, that do not hesitate underneath decision making is so important.
And Jordan, some of the comments in the chat I'll just read because they really do echo everything you were just saying. He knows whether to come out or stay in. He stuck with the decision and took small steps as he got closer to the ball. He was decisive in his action. He took small steps, and he sees where the ball is going. Then he takes a big step to get there faster. All good, all great comments. Yeah. One comment I'd ask, I put it in the chat. What is he saying? Anything? What's the goalkeeper probably saying or communicating when he's when this decision takes place?
Yeah, he's probably giving an early shout, I would imagine.
Yeah, everyone's type in keeper into the function. That's exactly right. Now, what if he doesn't go for it?
Yep. What's the word that he would say? My goalkeeper should know that.
Right on, away. They're all typing them in there. And I tell this to my GKs all the time. Which word do you think you say more of in a game? Keeper or away? Someone come off mute for me. Do you think you collect more crosses and come in and yell keeper, or do you think you're yelling at your defenders and letting them know it's their responsibility by yelling away?
Away.
Away. I think away. And I'm seeing some of you type in keeper, some of you typing away. So it really depends on how aggressive you are as a keeper and your style. What I've seen is that majority of the time when that cross comes in and you don't go for it, the word away sometimes is forgotten and not said. And I always put the emphasis on that. Make sure you communicate with your team exactly where you're going and what you're doing, especially early, because their actions can revolve specifically around yours. So if you're saying away versus keeper, it's going to really influence what they do as well.
Exactly. And that's a great point that we speak about a lot. If we do call away, are we ball watching or are we playing the second ball? And what I mean by playing the second ball is when we call away, we have to then get ready to anticipate, again, what if moments, someone's getting ready to make a shot or have a header towards goal. So we have to see that ball come into the box. We have to get balanced, small, tight steps, and get ready to push off to remain active to make that second save. So that's a point that I would like to also make. So well done there. Great stuff in the chat function. Thank you for that, Eric. Has everybody written down this recap of defend the area? I hope so. I'm assuming thumbs up are happening. Yep. So next one, probably the most important one we would all say is defend the goal. So we've written down defend the space. We've written down defend the area. Now we're talking about why we love to be a goalkeeper, and that's to make saves. So defending the goal, if you read that there, effective actions to prevent goal scoring opportunities. That's a fancy technical term for saying keep the ball out the back of the net. And again, the goalkeeper's job is simple. You keep it out the net, you've done your job. So how do we defend the goal? Positioning is key. I remember someone said at the very start, positioning, staying light on our feet, staying active, staying balanced. We're not getting stuck in the mud with our steps. We're not putting all our body weight on one leg and hoping it goes to the right-hand side. We're staying balanced so we can push off both left and push off both right. So that's very important. The next part is extremely important. I want you all to write this down. Defend the goal, and then underneath, read the situation, the visual triggers. That's so important. So as someone's dribbling, it might be a 1v1, it might be a shot on the angle, but you have to see the visual trigger. You have to see the striker getting ready to pull his foot back for that shot. That's when we get set. We stop running out towards the ball. We get set where we are. small steps, staying balanced and ready to react to that shot. So defend the goal, read the situation, the visual triggers. The striker's getting ready to pull his foot back to strike the ball. I'm getting set, stopping where I am. I'm not still running, because if I still run, what's going to happen? I'm going to dive and dive backwards. And you dive backwards, you're most likely going to push the ball into the goal. So as I see, eyes are on the ball, eyes are on the striker. As they're getting ready to pull their foot back, stopping where I am, getting balanced, staying low, and getting ready to move my feet. Coach Eric, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I love that. I think the sooner you can relate to what are the cues from an offensive person and you're defending or not in possession, the easier it's going to be for you to think about or really understand what the what if moments are going to take place, what possibly they're going to start doing. Instead of thinking it, okay, they could do this, they could do that. Now you're seeing that head down. They're looking to approach the ball. They're probably driving that ball, right? And now you can start making a decision a little bit ahead of the action based on the cue that you're seeing from the forward. So I think cues are really important. Visual triggers, you can start anticipating what you're going to do based on what you're seeing the offensive players do. Are you seeing the run on the left side of the field, balls on the right side of the field, and you're seeing him put his head down, getting ready to drive that ball in? They're probably looking to connect on a run to a header maybe, or a long service into the box. What can you do now? What can you start talking about defending back post? Are you going towards the ball? Are you going back and worrying about the second ball? Excuse me. So that anticipation and those visual triggers are very valuable to reading the game. Absolutely.
Yeah. And then last one there, as you see, communication.
Yeah.
Again, one of my goalkeepers, I think, might have been Braden. No shot, no cross. That's so important. You put a name and an instruction to your defender. If it's Coach Eric that's my defender, I'm screaming, Coach Eric, no shot, no shot, no shot. I'm not asking him, I'm demanding him. Yes, because our job as a team is to protect that goal. It's not just my job, it's the whole 11 players. So again, if Coach Eric's my defender, I'm screaming, Coach Eric, no shot, no shot, no shot. And I'm saying it with a purpose. I'm not asking. So again, we're going to watch a video here of Mendy, who plays for Chelsea. And we're just going to watch it once and then talk about it and then move on, because we're against the clock a little bit. So please, as you watch the video, take some notes about his approach, about the visual triggers. As you see the striker getting ready to shoot, what does Mendy do? So I want you thinking about that. Look at Mendy's footwork right before they hit the shot. So write that down, please.
Edouard Mendy has very good reflexes, and he is able to adjust his position very quickly to deny the opponents any goal-scoring opportunities. Mendy has the best save percentage in the Champions League this season, 95.8%. Mendy's overall save percentage this season has been 82.5% in all competitions.
So I'm just going to stop it there, guys, and I'm going to move on to the next video. Oh, there we go. So do me a favor, write in the chat function, what did you notice about Edouard Mendy's footwork right before the shot and when the shot was happening? Was he stuck in the mud? Was his feet very light, taking very small, tight steps? Was he leaning to one side? Was he staying balanced? These are all things you have to be watching a goalkeeper as that visual trigger is happening when the person's getting ready to shoot. So just add into the chat function. You can write notes down as well. And again, think about his positioning. Did he stay in the one position, or was he moving with the ball as the striker was dribbling away from the goal or towards the goal?
Coach Jordan, I'm just going to read while they're still doing their work. I'm just going to read what I'm seeing in the text in the chat function here. He's getting set and balanced. He's taking small steps and on his toes, leaning forward. He was on his feet, looking at the ball, watching the cues, light on his feet. He was balanced on his toes. He was taking small steps, got into his set position, balanced, light on his feet, moving with the ball line. I love that one.
Yeah.
Stalking,
Brilliant.
moving across the ball. And they essentially preparing for the shot. You guys nailed it. Well done.
Yeah. Fantastic. One of them at the very beginning said shoulders over their toes or body weight forward, or did someone say that?
Yeah, it says something to do with leaning forward, on his toes and leaning forward.
Yeah. So that's a big one, because if we are on our heels, and my goalkeepers know this, if you're diving and you're on your heels, where are you going to dive? Backwards. So you always have to keep your shoulders over your toes when we're getting set. So if my shoulders over my toes, I'm naturally going to dive positively, which means forward or to the side. If I'm on my heels,
go ahead, Jordan.
Sorry, I was just going to say, if I'm on my heels, I'm naturally going to dive backwards, and then my hand is going to push the ball into the goal. So that is something that's very important. Coach Eric?
You just said what I was going to say. How many of you guys have ever made a nice diving save, but you pushed it into the side of the net, like side netting it for a goal? And that's the reason why, just what Coach Jordan said, you're diving backwards and you make a great save, but you're diving backwards. The ball's going to go backwards. That's where the ball's going to go. Well said, Coach.
Thank you. So again,
Coach, you have a hand raised. Benjamin, I believe, has a question.
Yeah.
Ben, do you have a question? You're on mute, by the way, Ben. Sorry.
Yeah, Benjamin, on you go.
You may have done it accidentally. If you do have a question, you can type it in the chat or you can speak now. You're not on mute. I see that.
No worries.
Yeah,
So
Coach
again,
Jordan, go right ahead.
Yeah, just to recap again, very, very important. You are all saying the right answers in the chat function, so that's great to see. Small, tiny steps, staying balanced, which is so important, keeping your shoulders over your toes so you're naturally going to dive positively forward or to the side. Movement with the ball. We're not getting stuck in the mud and I'm just waiting. I might be on my toes, I might be balanced, but if you're not transitioning and moving with the ball, you're going to be out of position. So again, always moving with that ball. If the striker dribbles to the right a little bit, we move across, we cut that angle off. So some great answers there. Great stuff. Thank you for that. So the next slide, going back to the very beginning of the Zoom chat, was communication and organization. So we're going to finish with these 2 points for the end of the night. In the chat function, I want us to write down, why do you as a goalkeeper communicate and how? So the why is you give me an example in the game, and the how, obviously, is how are you expressing your communication to your teammates? And then if you can give me an example of communicating out of possession. So just start writing that in the chat function, everybody. That would be helpful. So again, the very first question, as a goalkeeper, why are we communicating? What is the purpose of it?
I'll just read them as they come in, Jay.
Yeah.
Why? To set up for a shot, no shot, no cross, things to say. Position the defense and tell the defense what you are doing. Organize your defenders. Communicate so other players on the field know what is going on if they can't see something. Maybe they're not ball watching or they're watching something else. I like that one, actually.
Yeah, good answer.
How your teammates can help you. You're organizing your team. Communication, because we need to tell defenders what to do because you're the leader of the defense. Laura, that's an excellent one.
Oh, I love that.
Darren saying things specifically. I want to actually continue with that one a little bit. 'Cause a lot of people, I call him like Charlie Brown's teacher in the cartoon, and all you hear is no one's listening, right? But if you're, what's the first thing you want to say when you're talking specifically to somebody? Justin, if I'm telling you what to do, what's the first thing I should say to you? And it's in the chat right now, the answer. Correct. Good. Jake, what do you think?
You should probably say their name so you get their attention.
100%. 100%. How many of you guys have said something like, Mark, back door, then no one moves? You know what I mean? Like, because you're never talking to them, right? But if you say, Jake, back door, it's understood who's supposed to be going back door. It gave you a responsibility that you need to fulfill. So that first name is very, very important. And always remember this, in the heat of the moment, it is not a conversation, right? You're not having a conversation. I'm not asking Jake, hey, Jake, what do you think about marking back door? No, it's Jake, your back door. You're the one commanding it because you're the leader of the defenders. That is great. I think someone said that earlier, how you're leading the defense. I think it was Laura.
Yep. Brilliant. And then just the last question there, give an example. So when would we communicate in a game to not allow us to concede a goal? Yeah, what would an example be? Has anybody written it down? Coach Eric?
Not yet. Preventing shots, saying specific things. Guys, help me out with there you go, corner kicks.
Yes, there we go. Now we're
set pieces, no shot.
Yeah, so that was what I was looking for. Corner kicks. Free kicks. If the ball goes out of play for a throw-in, this is a very important one that we all have to start thinking, because I know it happens a lot. The ball goes out for a throw-in to the other team, and I see a lot of this, and this is across the board, not just a goalkeeper. Your head's looking at your feet. You're just doing one of these ones. You're waiting for the ball to come back in. What happens if the other team take a quick throw-in and they get across and they score a goal? So anytime the ball goes out of play, and again, write this down, anytime the ball goes out of play and it's the other team's ball, you should be organizing and communicating as soon as that ball goes out of play. So alarm bells are ringing. I say this to my goalkeepers all the time. Ball goes out of play, alarm bells are ringing. I have to organize right away. That's when the goalkeeper comes alive. We don't wait for the person to get the ball and then they're out and set and they're in their positions and then you do it. No. Ball's out of play, alarm bells are on. I have to organize. You've got you. Name, instruction. Name, instruction, like Coach Eric said.
Jordan, can I elaborate on that for one moment?
Yep.
One of the things that was said last week by Saskia Weber, does everyone remember the checklist? Whoever, for those that were on last week, she talked about a checklist, and it's about the what if moments. So with what Coach Jordan was saying, if the ball goes out of bounds, that's an opportunity for you to go through your checklist on what could potentially happen in the next 10, 15, 20 seconds. So if it's a deep throw and you're defensive third, you can start organizing and marking, because what they're probably going to try and do is get the ball where? Probably into the middle of the box or back door. So can we then start talking to our defenders to be goal side or marked up tightly on our defenders? Because if that service gets in, they need to defend that. And what would we say to our defenders who are close to the throw-in? No service, no shot, goal side, right? So we need to go through that what if moment with our checklist and speak to that. And then what happens if we come down with the cross in our hands, right? And that's next week's session, like the transitions. So we'll speak to that next week, but always think about what if moments. I love that comment, how we started it today, and applying what we have on our checklist. If this, then that statements. That's one thing I say all the time, Jordan. If this happens, what do we do? If then statements. If this, then that. If this, then that. Can we speak to that ahead of it possibly happening?
So just to, again, recap on all the chat function answers that I've heard from Coach Eric. Why do we communicate in a game? The purpose is not to concede. That's the job. That's our job as a goalkeeper. Again, organizing the team. Someone said that. Prevent chances through organization. Someone said that. What if moments? Again, Coach Eric's talking about it. A motivator when needed. So what does that mean? Someone just put their hand up and tell me what they think motivator when needed. Coach Eric, can you just pick someone or let
Yep.
us speak?
Who we got here? I could pick anybody here, right? They go with there are a couple Jakes. If I say Jake, I think there's 2 or 3 of you out there. Addison, I saw the hand in the air, hon. You go right ahead.
Can you like repeat the question because I kind of forgot?
Yeah, so if you look at the 4th bullet point, it says motivator when needed.
If they like score a goal on you and everybody's heads are down, or the other team took the ball when they were about to shoot or something and their head starts to go down, you could say like, come on, you'll get it next time.
Yeah, I like that. If we do concede a goal, we can get everybody lifted and motivate them to say, okay, we're not going to let that happen again. I like that answer. But what about if we think about the last 5-10 minutes of a soccer match when the 10 players out in the field are running around and really, really tired? What could we do as a goalkeeper because we see the whole field?
Tell them where to go so they can work smarter and not harder.
Yeah, brilliant answer, Jacob. I like that. Anybody else want to add on that?
One thing I'll say too is when a defender makes a great play, like a sliding defending a shot and it goes out of bounds, take that time to be very enthusiastic about saying great play.
Yeah.
Because that gets the you know what they're probably going to do? They'll probably do it again for you.
Exactly.
And you're building a connection with not only that defender, you're building a connection with the team that you're noticing their hard work out there. And those compliments can go a long way.
Yeah, I love that. And so we're just going to watch this for 1 minute, guys. This is going to be Andre Blake organizing and communicating in the MLS. So try and listen carefully if we can. We're not watching the highlights. We're listening to what he's saying.
Well,
Richie, Jack! Organize them quickly! Get them ready! Jack! Hey, Richie! Well done. Hey! All right, you might have to go. Wait, watch it. Just watch it. You're good. You're dropping a little bit too deep. Hold the line. Keep going. Be patient. Keep going. Warren, over the ball. Ask for the whistle. Warren, ask for the whistle.
oh, video call. Yeah, meeting.
Keep. Good stuff.
Okay, we're just going to finish on that one because I don't want to do the whole 3 minutes. Can we come off? Can we keep it on mute?
What was that, Jordan?
Yeah, I was just going to mute Benjamin.
I got it.
So again, just listening to that video, you heard Andre Blake. When he was communicating and organising, you clearly heard him say the name of the player and the instruction of what he wanted them to do. So again, name, instruction. Was he asking the defender? No, he was demanding the defender to do the job. So that's a great point to start with. The second one, he was defending the space and behind the back four. He was defending the goal. He was defending the area, then he was defending the goal. So he covered all 3 of those points in that video by communicating and organising. And then finally, obviously, he was encouraging the team to push on and keep fighting and keep working hard. So that's a video I think we can all watch and gain from and take to our games on a Saturday, Sunday. So organisation. Why do we need organisation? To prevent goal scoring opportunities, to organise set pieces, and to make sure when the ball goes out of bounds, everybody's alarm bells are ringing. Like Coach Eric said, what if moments, we're organising right away. And then finally, take control of the situation, name, instruction, be loud and clear. Coach Eric, do I have time to run through this wall setup?
Yeah, go with it for a couple of minutes. Just this is a good one for this age. I think these kids will learn a lot off of this.
So again, we've covered behind the space, or defend the space, defend the area, defend the goal. So what happens when we're defending against a free kick, for instance? So if we look and if we imagine we're in goal and we have we are Spider-Man and we have a spider web coming out of the middle of that goal. And if you look to your left-hand side, it says the number 1 to 2. So that means if there's a soccer ball where the number 1 or 2 is, we're going to have 1 or 2 players in the wall to prevent the shot coming. Does everybody understand that? Again, if we look to the top left corner of this diagram, we've got the number 1 and 2. If there was a soccer ball where those numbers were, we would have most likely 1 or 2 players in the wall. And the reason we would have 1 or 2 is if there's 2 attacking players standing on the ball, we would most likely have 2 defenders in the wall. So that's a 2 versus 2. And if they play it short, it's easy to defend. What happens if there's 2 players standing on the ball and only 1 person in the wall? That's a 2 players for the attacking team, 1 defender for us. They play it short, they just go around you. So again, I want you thinking, when do I have 1, when do I have 2 in the wall? When it's on an angle near the corner flag. Your answer, if there's 2 attacking players over the ball, you would always have 2 players in the wall. Does that make sense, everybody? Put your hand up or write in the chat function if that doesn't make sense. Coach Eric, can you let me know if anybody needs help with that one?
We'll do. Nothing yet. They look right. Nothing yet.
So if we look at the number 4 and 5, which is in the center, right in the middle of the penalty box area, outside the penalty box area, would we have 4 or 5? If there was 1 or 2 players over the ball, would we have 1 or 2 players over in a wall? No, we would have 4 or 5 because that's the middle of the goal and it's an opportunity to hit a shot on target. So do we understand the difference there? If the ball is out on the wide area near the corner flag, they're most likely not going to shoot. They're probably going to do a cross. However, if they are right directly in the middle of the goal, outside the box, they're most likely going to shoot. They're not going to cross it. So that's when we have to understand we need 4 or 5 players in the wall to not let them have a free shot. Coach Eric, do you want to elaborate on that? Or did that
the only thing I would say is regarding walls, everybody, you probably don't train this with your team. I hate to say that, but I rarely see your ages being taught how to set up a wall and the coach actually giving you, as the leader of the backs and the goalkeeper, the responsibility to do this and to communicate this. This is from what I've seen. Now, some of you may do that. And if you do, fantastic, you should. But you also need to walk away that this is ultimately the goalkeeper's responsibility in setting up walls and setting up who is in the wall. So you might have to say, Jordan, Addison, Jake, Avery, wall 4, and you get those names. Because again, you say wall, people aren't going to go and jump in the wall. Like they're not going to, you know what I'm saying? So you need to almost tell them, you 4, wall, hit, right. And you're not having a conversation. You are dictating, and the tone is essential. Hard, be loud, and be very, very strong with how you're saying it. This is a game-changing moment, potentially. Them getting a free kick, dead center, 20 yards. That's a good opportunity to score. So use that tone when speaking to your team that way.
Yeah, perfect.
And if you don't train it, ask your coach.
Yeah.
Hey, can we practice setting up a wall? I mean, it's needed. It's needed.
Exactly. And then the final part of tonight, everybody, I know you'll be grateful to see the back of me, is the reflection stage. So in the chat function, again, write down the 3 areas of the field out of possession a goalkeeper must organise. Again, we've already covered them. There's 3 areas of the field out of possession we must organise. We've saw 3 videos on it. That's a little clue.
That's a good clue too.
Yeah, massive clue. So write those in the chat function. And then the second question, write down how to be successful when communicating. And then on that second part, when does a goalkeeper organize? So let's focus on those two questions to start with and ignore the last one because we'll get there in a second. What are the three areas? We've watched videos on them already. And then write down how to be successful when communicating.
Yep. Defend the area, defend the space, defend the goal.
Yep, bingo. Well done. Who's the first one to say that, Coach?
Jacob Rush.
Love that, Jacob. Good man. Fast typer. So that's your answer.
That's right.
Yeah. Defend the area, which is just also known as the sweeper keeper. Yep. Defend the area, which is known as commanding the box, which was a little title. And then defend the goal, which is the shot stopper, keeping the ball out the net. So I hope people are writing down how to be successful when communicating. We've spoke about it all night long. We're not asking, we're demanding. I'm sure that's one of the answers. Name, instruction. You're saying the defender's name, you're giving them an instruction. You're not asking, you're demanding it. Are we saying it quietly? No, we're saying it with a purpose. We're saying it to get the job done. And then on the part B, when does a goalkeeper organize? Give us examples. Again, I'm sure people are writing this down right now, Coach. Corner kicks, set pieces against, free kicks. The ball goes out of play for a throw in. Alarm bells are ringing. Bang, bang, bang. I'm thinking what if moments. And then the last one, easiest question of the night. What is the job of a goalkeeper? Who's the first one to say it? Don't all say it at once.
What's your main job? What's your main job? Keep the ball where?
Out the back of the net.
Yes, bingo. So that's us done for tonight.
Always try to
everybody.
establish.
Does anybody have any questions for me? Anybody have any thoughts? They don't know a part that we're talking about, they need help with. Please feel free now to write it in the chat function.
I have a question.
Yep.
Who is that?
Who has
Today's my new first day here. I don't understand what you guys are saying. I don't even know where you start. Can you please repeat what you just said before? I don't understand everything you guys are saying because today is my first day of joining this meeting.
Yeah, so Benjamin, what we'll do is we'll send this PowerPoint to you, and then I'll give you my email and cell phone number, and we and Coach Eric and I can get on a Zoom with you, and we can go through it again. Is that right? Okay? There's also another Zoom at 8 o'clock. So in 29 minutes, there's another Zoom that we're going to do the exact same presentation for the older group. So maybe you can be on that one as well.
That's a great idea, Jordan.
Okay, so when am I going to get the email?
Yeah, so Coach Eric will send you the Zoom details to be on at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
Okay,
Benjamin, do you have, where did you receive the link for tonight's session for? Did you get an email with this information?
Yeah, I got an email.
Okay. It's on that same email, the link to the 8 o'clock session as well.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
Coach Benjamin, I'm sorry, Coach Benjamin. Sorry, Coach Jordan, I do have one question for you. What if these guys are doing these things and talking loudly, but no one is listening, and they're finding they're having tension between teammates and not results?
Yeah, so that could be resolved away from the soccer pitch. So maybe walking at halftime, it's a little conversation between you and the defender, or between you and the person that's not listening to you. Or you can speak to your coach, who can then bring it up at the halftime team talk, or can bring it up in a practice session where we're all on board with the same ideas. So again, you can go to your coach and say, Coach, my defenders aren't listening to me. I need your help. And then the coach can bring everybody together and say, the goalkeeper can see the whole field, listen to him when he's talking to you. Or you can just go over to your teammate and say, dude, the job here to be successful is to keep the ball out the net. So if we work together, we can do that. So that's two options you've got there, Eric. I don't know if that's something you're looking for.
100%. Because I feel that the first time a goalkeeper uses a loud tone without the blessing, let's call it, of their coach, they might get an awkward look or an awkward response from a teammate.
Yep.
And I feel that they need to understand that you're doing the right thing. You are. Communicating needs to be loud. It needs to be specific. And there's no decision that is they have to excuse. It's not a conversation. They need to follow you. And if you have issues, to what Coach Jordan said, talk to your coach, talk to that player, and let them know that's for the best of the team as to why you're doing that. And you should get your coach's support with that.
Yep. Anybody else? Any questions? Any comments, concerns?
All right. No, let's wrap her up, Jordan. Good stuff, man.
Brilliant. Well, again, thank you everybody for coming on the Zoom tonight. I really enjoyed it. I hope everybody enjoyed it. It was great to have everybody interacting, bringing your points to the table. I hope you learned a little bit of information, and hopefully I'll see everybody very, very soon. If you have any questions, if you want to reach out to me, my contact information is on the screen. And again, my life is soccer. My life is goalkeeping. That's all I do. That's all I think about. So if you ever want to just call me and have a chat about goalkeeping, I'm always available. So hopefully I see everybody soon. Ideally, I would like to be on the soccer pitch. We can do a session together. But I would invite you to Florida, not me to the Northeast.
The way it's going now, man, you are spot on with that invitation because it'll be gladly accepted, Jordan.
Well, brilliant. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for coming on, and hopefully see everybody very soon.
Everybody, can we give Coach Jordan a golf clap? Thank you of appreciation, please.